Elon Musk was asked a question if other civilizations could exist on other planets, and his answer was stunning. Because becoming an interplanetary species has its unique difficulties, Musk is often asked about the existence of intelligent extraterrestrial beings and the likelihood that other civilizations exist somewhere in the outer universe. In an interview with the Lex Fridman podcast, host Lex Fridman once again posed the question. Musk replied by saying that other civilizations have existed elsewhere in the universe, but have never been able to become interplanetary. This is why we have never seen or experienced evidence of their existence. Answering the question at the center of the famed Fermi paradox, which seeks to explain why, if alien life exists, we have never seen it. Elon said, "Probably there were few civilizations on other planets that never made it and died." Musk muses that because these other civilizations died out before they achieved interplanetary colonization, whether it was due to war or natural disaster, their extinction was inevitable because they failed to pass through the Great Filter. He argues that human beings face the same threat of extinction if we are also unable to achieve interplanetary status. To do so would be to defeat the Great Filter. But to truly pass the Great Filter, an interplanetary habitation must be self-sustaining. As he puts it, becoming multiplanetary is essentially life insurance for living things, meaning that it ensures the survival of the human race. In another interview at the Lex Fridman podcast, Musk talks about the necessity of getting to Mars, and why sustainability is so important to the survival of a human colony on its surface. As he puts it, a Mars colony must be self-sustaining in order to pass that Great Filter. If a Martian city can't survive without regular transports from Earth, then it too will go extinct should anything happen to Earth and the people on it. This means that the consequences of poor planning and unpreparedness could determine the furtherance of the human race. In order to ensure the success of a colony on Mars, a lot of research and engineering is required to figure out any and all necessary technologies and tools required to build a sustainable habitat. So what exactly does a sustainable habitat on Mars look like, and how close are we to achieving one? Because the journey to Mars is fairly long, many people who choose to make the trek will likely never return to Earth, and anyone born on Mars will likely never leave either due to the significant health issues that would occur should they try to. This means that a Mars habitat has to have food, shelter, and water for its inhabitants. Considering the conditions on the fourth planet from the Sun, it will be fairly difficult and require fail-safe planning to ensure the success of farming, building, and water resources. As Musk puts it, Mars is the most hospitable and inhospitable planet, meaning that it has very little to offer us on its own. Between the high levels of radiation and an atmosphere made almost entirely of carbon dioxide, a lot of protective gear will be necessary to walk the surface of the planet. Most researchers have even recommended that, due to the radiation, a Mars colony be built below the surface, as this would protect the communities from the harmful ultraviolet rays. Musk has suggested using a layer of Martian soil to coat the tops of the above-ground homes, but it is unclear whether or not this would provide enough protection. Either way, in order to be self-sustaining, the Mars colony would either need to build with materials already on Mars or bring the necessary materials and figure out a sustainable way to produce them once landing on the planet for good. Without proper shelter, inhabitants would be unable to survive the harsh surface conditions. In addition to needing shelter, a self-sustaining Martian city would also need a way to grow and produce food. In his speculations about the future of a Mars colony, Musk has stated that we have the ability to transport plants and animals to the planet with us, and that their survival is contingent upon our ability to build facilities that can accommodate non-human life as well. This poses some of the same questions as building a shelter does. Where these facilities will be built and with what materials. There is a chance that we could propagate and breed any plants and animals brought to the planet, assuming they survive the journey from Earth. But we would also have to be able to create a sustainable way to farm with the materials on Mars. While a large amount of plant life could contribute to oxygen levels, the sheer amount needed to support both animals and human life is quite sizable. Plus, there is the question of replenishable water sources. In the past, NASA's Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, along with its predecessors, have indicated the presence of rivers and oceans that once existed on the Red Planet. Additionally, there are sheets of ice present at each of the planet's poles. Because the poles of Mars can get as cold as negative 195 degrees Fahrenheit, and because carbon dioxide can also freeze at these temperatures, it is hard to determine whether these sheets are carbon dioxide ice or water ice. The full composition is still unclear, but a rover did use infrared scanning to determine the possibility of water ice in a mixture with Martian dust in the planet's southern pole. Another rover also used radar technology to interpret signals that liquid water exists beneath the ice caps on the southern pole. If the water is liquid at those temperatures, it is likely of a salty, briny composition. So at the very least, there is the presence of water on Mars, though it is still unclear what kind and how it could be used and recycled by humans living on the planet. The biggest debate when it comes to creating a self-sustaining Mars habitat is the idea of terraforming, or fundamentally changing the atmospheric pressure to make the planet livable without the necessity of life systems or breathing apparatuses. As it currently exists, Mars' atmosphere is primarily composed of carbon dioxide and is so thin that any human would die very quickly without the proper equipment. One proposed method of changing the atmospheric pressure would be to release the CO2 that is currently trapped within Mars' surface. In 2015, Elon Musk famously proposed dropping nuclear weapons above the poles to melt the ice that currently exists there. However, a 2018 study published by NASA scientists in the Nature Astronomy journal indicates that there isn't even enough CO2 on the planet to increase the atmospheric pressure to a livable amount. Additionally, we lack the technology currently to make terraforming possible. This, however, does not mean that we will always lack the proper technology. As Musk still has a few years before he plans to send people to Mars, it is possible that new discoveries and engineering advancements could get us closer to answering these sustainability questions. Though there are a lot of logistics to work through when it comes to becoming a multiplanetary species and to making it past the infamous Great Filter, Elon Musk and SpaceX are certainly up for the task. Until the first Starship shuttle is bound for Mars, we will just have to wait and see what they come up with. As we all know, Elon Musk is very successful in the realm of space exploration, and it's a fact that Elon had a lot of success stories in space. Musk is trying very hard every day to make the Mars goal possible. Will he succeed? Well, time will tell. And finally, if you like this video, please subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell. It will be a great support for the channel.